Well, talking about John Carpenter, John Carpenter is the reason why I got into watching westerns. Now, this is part of the influence of John Carpenter on my life. I really became like a big fan of John Carpenter's movies, specifically because of Escape from New York. And after a while, I started to kind of want to know, like, what influenced John Carpenter, and John Carpenter was really influenced by the Western. And so I started checking out some of these Westerns that John Carpenter was into and finding that I really like Westerns. And that's what really got me into them as a kid. And this one right here, Rio Bravo, okay? This is a Howard Hawks film, and Howard Hawks had a big influence on John Carpenter. And so in this film, you have Sheriff John T. Chance, played by John Wayne, and then he has a recovering drunk, played by Dean Martin, and they're also joined by Old Codger, played by Walter Brennan. Now, Walter Brennan was also with John Wayne in Red River. You also have a young Ricky Nelson in this film. It's really ultimately just a hangout movie, and it was kind of the John Wayne and Howard Hawks' response to the film High Noon. They both didn't like it and thought that it was absurd that the lead in that film, played by Gary Cooper, cried. They called it anti-American, so this was really their, manly man response to that movie. I like High Noon, okay, so I don't know what the problem is, but arguably this is one of the greatest movies of the Western genre, and it is like a wonderful hangout movie. Doesn't have a really in-depth plot. It's a very simple plot. You've got an army of gunmen that are coming to spring their buddy out of jail, and he's being held by, John Wayne, Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson, and Walter Brennan. And that's pretty much it. Trying to hold off these guys, the threat of their imminent attack and everything. It's really a very simple movie. The highlight for me of the film is the scene in the jail when Ricky Nelson and Dean Martin start singing a country song or a Western song together. It's really it's great. Like, the whole movie just stops so they can do a musical number. And I really love this film quite a bit. It's one of my favorite Westerns, and I want to just put that out there because I'm doing so many of these John Carpenter reviews, and I owe a lot of thanks to John Carpenter for introducing me to Westerns. That's what I mean earlier when I said that he had a big impact on my life. In fact, if you pick up this particular Blu-ray copy, if you look on the back, the special features, there's a commentary on here by John Carpenter and Ricky Schickel. So, and he talks about this film. So if you want to essentially watch a Western with John Carpenter, have him talking to you about this film and the influence it had on him as a director. He loves it. I love it. So thank you, John Carpenter, for introducing me to this wonderful Western. All right. Thank you for watching. God bless, and have a wonderful day.